This is the test run for the dual chambered rocket stove concept that I have. This is an old water heater that I've cut down to 19 inches in height. It's got a 16-inch diameter, and I've got two rocket stoves built into one. Where the first rocket stove has a smaller diameter stack, and you can see the flame in there. This one doesn't seem to burn as well as the bigger one, but it might also be because I still have yet to build a tray for the wood to rest on so the air can come through. On the very top, I have a rotor from a car. The reason I chose this rotor is because of these flutes that you can see go all the way across. I figured if I put a pot on the normal stack, it would block the flow of the air. So I'm going to grab this pot that I have of rainwater, just because I don't feel like wasting real water right now, or drinkable water. And when you do that, it blocks the air coming from that and then reroutes the heat through the flutes that go all the way around the stack. It's removable, so I can move it over to the other stack if I like. And here's the flame burning in this one. You can see the flames are being sucked up towards the back. That's the rocket effect, I guess. And it's pretty cool. Again, this one burns much better than the other one. It's a much wider diameter. I think it's 4.5 inches, possibly 5, than the stack over here. On the inside, I have vermiculite that I used to use for my raised gardens, and I had a bunch left over, and I found out that it's an excellent insulator, so I decided to go ahead and give it a shot. I'm gonna see how long it takes for that water to boil, and then I'll pick up the video from there. Bye. Alright, it's been just about 15 minutes, and you can see, hopefully, that the water is beginning to boil. It's not burning as efficient as I wanted. I think it's really because I don't have a grate in there to keep the airflow at the optimum input or suckage or whatever you want to call it. The other one is still going, but I think this one doesn't burn as well as the other because my cubic inches going in is larger than my cubic inches coming out, and so I believe I'm getting some kind of a bottleneck. So what I'll do is I'll weld a plate over the top there to bring the cubic inches down to what it should be, and that should help to increase the rocket effect on the smaller stove here. If you're wondering what I'm burning pallet wood. Pallet wood is free and mostly made out of oak, and a lot of people probably worry about the chemicals that are in some pallets. You can opt to use only heat treated pallets versus chemically treated pallets. Now, that's totally up to you. But the purpose of the rocket stove is to get hot enough to burn all the excess volatile fumes. If you'll notice, there is no smoke coming out of my rocket stove. The reason is because it's getting hot enough to burn the smoke and burn the fumes up. What you see there is just steam coming off the water as it begins to boil. I'm not sure if I should plug up some of these holes in the flutes here. Well, I'll worry about that later as I do more testing. For those of you who are interested in how I started my fire, my lovely wife at some kind of a fair purchased me this thing. It's a I don't know, some kind of a horn from an animal. I guess that's the part that goes inside the animal's head. And this is a pretty cool jabbing tool or stabbing tool, but it has magnesium on the bottom and flint on the top. And the flint is good for dry tinder or dry kindling or anything else that's dry. And if you have wet or damp conditions, you can use the magnesium to scrape off a pile, scrape into a pile, and then ignite it with the flint to make a hotter initial flame to get this thing going. And didn't really like it at first because it looked kind of creepy because of the horn, but after I began using it, I realized how easily I could make a fire, and it's a stabbing tool. I was pretty excited about it. Totally went and kissed my wife. It comes with this little leather strip attached to a little thin sheet of metal, and this is what you use to scrape the magnesium. What I use for kindling, this is not a bottle of Pennzoil, this is just a container. I keep cooking grease and cooking fat. This is mostly bacon fat, and I found that if you take dryer lint from your dryer, the stuff that normally is a complete waste, you take dryer lint and you take a little pinch of it and soak it in this stuff here, it burns like a candle, and it'll burn for a good, I don't know, 10 minutes. It's pretty cool. I guess if you add more of it and more oil, it'll burn for even longer. But works pretty well. I've collected a huge amount of this stuff, and I love it. So that's how I make my fires. And let's see. Yeah, we're doing a little bit more. Maybe I'll try this weekend to actually cook something on it and videotape that. But anyway, this was a test run before I actually finish all the welds up. Once it's done, I'll finish all the welding around the sides, on both sides. And the reason I chose to do a multi-chambered rocket stove, I'm actually considering doing a third one here, but I'm not sure, because eventually I would like to build a top component that fits on top of this to act as a wood gasifier. And I'm not sure exactly how much heat I'll need, if I'll need the heat of 1 chamber or 2 chambers or 3 chambers to get hot enough to fuel a, to get a gasifier going. But good alternative source of fuel, so I figured I'd give it a shot. I guess I'll quickly run over and show you my pallet pile. This is my pile of broken down pallets, and I'm gonna move it away from the house because the wife's not too happy about it in its current state. But this is my fuel. I also make other things out of the pallets, and yeah. If you want to get into pallets, that is, what you really want to do is get yourself or build yourself one of these. This is a pallet buster. This is one I made out of scraps at my job, and it's quite simple. It's just a nice hefty handle with 2 little forks on the bottom. This fits in between the legs of the slats of the pallet, and I've got a little bar on the back to act as a pry bar, and you just pry it up and up it pops. No fighting, no hammering, nothing. Very simple, very easy. It gives you a nice big old stack of fuel and usable wood for nice rustic projects. But anyway, this is Mike from Michael C. Michael Do, and talk to you on the next vid. Thanks. Bye.